All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Career Lab Wednesday. I am your host, George Miller, also known as, especially in the winter time, Chicago Iceberg. It's been a lot of fun this week running around in the ice and playing in my playground, which is the lakefront of Chicago when it is cold. So I've been having fun with that, and I I'm excited to talk about friending your fear and a journey that I am on, and I think all of us are on, with making friends with what is uncomfortable to us. That just so seems to be what works well for us human beings, is that as we learn and grow, as we are becoming more, as we're growing our capacity and becoming more who we can be, that's what makes us happy. That's what we are excited about. That's, the like one of the main points I see in living is really being alive. Huh, kind of funny. So, as we're getting into today's topic, I want to invite anybody who's listening in. I welcome you to ask any questions career related. You don't have to, if the idea of friending fear is like, what's he talking about? Why I can't even think of anything related to that. That's totally fine. What I'll do is I'll take your questions, whether it's about a resume, interview coaching, working with your team, any of these things, and we'll run it through the lens of, okay, what are the things that you could try that might be uncomfortable, but would get you the results that you're looking for. And then we'll probably come up against some of the things that you think about yourself or the world that just aren't true. And we'll look at that. And then we'll even look at that, oh, even if I'm letting go of a pattern that doesn't work for me, and I'm now doing something that actually makes me happier, that's still a concern. That's still kind of scary to me. And so that tends to be the process. And I love taking career related questions and running it through this filter of emotional intelligence and coming up with creative solutions together. So there's a few ways. I love it when you jump in directly. We can talk one-to-one here that way. If you can't do that and you are online viewing in through YouTube or LinkedIn Live, you can type your questions into the comment section. I'll do my best to get those questions. And if I'm answering a question and you're like, oh, George is going in the totally wrong direction, this is not helping me at all, let me know. Type into the comment section, say, no, I mean more like this. So as we're getting started here, I just want to check in. I see we've got somebody here. You're welcome to come off mute and share. And if you don't want to, you're welcome to just type into the comment section or the chat here, and I can field your questions that way. So whatever you're comfortable with, because this, if you want to remain anonymous, I get it. If it does matter and you want to engage with me directly, feel free to come off mute and talk. So you can do that at any time. I'll be sharing some about myself and what I'm working on and how I'm friending fear and the ways that I'm doing that in my business. But you are fine to interrupt me. So go ahead, and if I say anything that interests you, hey, good to see you. Welcome back. I'd love to get an update if you're open to sharing.
Super. Thank you so much for inviting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I do have a question about friend and fear, because I feel myself. Sometimes I have difficult finding common grounds with people and finding some new things to ask to start a small talk. Talking about weather doesn't help.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. So can you give me a scenario where this would be happening, whether it's at a a gathering of friends and family, or at a church event, or at work?
Uh, for example, okay, let's start with work close to work environment. For example, for business conference, we have lots of people everywhere and lots of unknown people, and feel ourselves, okay, at least I feel myself not so comfortable. Okay, what should I do?
Okay, cool, cool. So we're gonna have to dig in a little bit. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. Where are you from?
I am originally from Russia, and now I'm living for more than 4 years in Bulgaria.
In Bulgaria? Okay, cool. Oh, what part of Bulgaria?
It's Sofia, capital of
Really?
Bulgaria. Yeah,
Oh, I love Sofia. I was there a few years ago. It was beautiful.
really?
Yes, yes. Yeah, my wife was doing an artist residency in Cebu, and then I met with her after that, and we traveled around, and we were in Bulgaria. We went through Sofia, and we went out to Varna, and we spent a few days in Bulgaria. It was beautiful, and my goodness, some of the churches and the artwork in the churches, like it just it was amazing and beautiful weather, really great food. So yes,
Yes,
yeah,
it's true. We have a lot of old churches in here, Orthodox churches with murals and lots of different drawings on walls. We have just great nature here, lots of mountains, mountains outside of Sofia.
yeah, yes, yes, yes. Okay, cool. So you're in Sofia now, and what is it that you do
I
at
am
work?
I am a product manager
Uh-huh.
for cybersecurity product for integrations platform.
Okay, cool. So when you're at one of these work events, um, and there's time where like you're just talking with people, where there's like you're eating together and talking.
Yeah, I need to meet these people. I need to know their opinion about our product. I want to know more about their business. How do they use our product in their business life? What other products do they use? How can we compete with these other products? How they choose tools they use? And yes, it's
Okay. Okay, good. Good,
unnatural
good,
and
good.
difficult for me to start.
So what you're gonna start doing, so and where are you? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Uh, my sister is in Ohio, and my brother is back in Moscow,
Are they older or younger?
both younger.
Okay, so you're the oldest.
Yeah,
Got it. And who is your mom's favorite?
don't know, but not me.
Okay, got it. And your dad's favorite?
No idea.
Okay, so right there we have a critical thing, which is there's a deep belief that you're not as interesting.
Maybe yes,
And
could
and
be.
so that's just part of the game. And so as you're talking with people, you're going to be rewiring that. You're going to be facing that limiting belief of I'm not that interesting, or I'm not interesting enough, or whatever, I'm not enough. And you're going to just be aware of that, and you're going to take little steps to challenge the belief that I'm not enough. And And I can say this too about oldest children. Um, I don't know a single oldest child that does not have the belief I'm not enough in some kind of a way, because you were like you were the prince, and then you get dethroned, and now you have all these responsibilities to raise these younger things, and you didn't necessarily want them there in the first place. And you know, so there's just a lot of like complexity that happens in the early time, because when from 0 to 7 is when we're forming how we see the world and what we think the world expects of us. So you're driven, you take responsibility for stuff, and it's kind of out of this fear of I'm not enough. So it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's both. It's because it helps drive you, but it can get in the way when you're networking, when you're talking, and you think you have to perform, and you think you're supposed to sound smart or do something in that kind of a way. And what you're going to be learning right now is the way to be more open and curious. And here's where you friend your fear, is you don't have to be enough. You don't even, the fact that you're not enough is a gift. Your ignorance is a gift. So when you start a conversation, you could walk up and say, "Hi, I'm Sergey. I'm here to find out more about how this works.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more." And then they say like, "Oh, well, we were just talking about this, and this," and you say, "Oh, great. Say more." And then you friend your fear in that moment and you shut your mouth.
Oh, yes, it happens. Time to
And
time, yeah.
so you ask an open-ended question, and they might be like, "Oh, wait, how am I answering this?" And it might take them a little bit of time, but you don't have to step in and try to rescue them or try to say more. "Oh, what I mean is da 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 da." You don't have to perform. And then as the conversation happens, as they talk a little bit, you're paying attention to what interests you, genuinely what you're curious about. And you say, "Oh, tell me more about that." And you're going to learn that your attention, your focus on that other person is a gift to them.
Thank you for this introduction. So I got it that my being not enough is a gift because it gives me space for improvement, and I can use this and address these pain points, grow, and be better self.
Yes, yes. And that's actually a gift to somebody else. And so you don't have to come into these conversations. You said from the beginning, "I want to find out more about them."
Yeah, because to build products, I have to understand how they're going to use my product.
Uh-huh.
Crucial for them. How they do their job, and how can I help them to do their job with my product?
Uh-huh. But you first have to establish the trust.
Yes.
And so the way that you do that, okay, I'll give you a story about a client of mine. I love sharing this story. They had an interview coming up, and what they practiced was asking questions
Mm-hmm.
and using their ignorance as a tool. And so they interviewed and they asked a lot of questions. At the end of the interview, the owner said, "I hate to tell you this. I would hire you, but you just asked such good questions that you made me realize what I thought I was hiring for, I actually need this other thing. And I'm not even ready to hire yet. We need to put some of this stuff in place. And I actually think I know who I'm going to hire. And I'm so sorry because it's not you. And without you asking the questions, I wouldn't have realized it. But I can introduce you to this other person. I think you might be a good fit for them. So you want to take that approach when you're talking to people.
Yeah, this is a good story. And actually, I use same approach when I'm working with my team. It's exactly the same. They are professionals. They do their job. They know much more than me in their job, but still asking questions and telling them about customer problems, help them with answering questions and finding new solutions.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yes, yes. So you've got practice with this. So now what else? So we've looked at some of the things. You have some strategy about how you can be in groups of people and
Mhm.
get conversations going. What other fears do you have? What other anxieties about that do you have?
For example, currently I have feeling that I am taking too much time from you. Maybe you need to dedicate some time to others.
Oh,
And
right now.
I am not good enough. I'm not enough
Uh-huh.
to fill in this conversation, and I love it. But it's too much. I feel it like it's too much.
Cool. I'm so glad you just said that. We can dig in more on that, and I'll set some more context. So as I'm speaking with Sergi here, for everybody listening in, see, his questions are fueling this. So what I want everybody who listens in to do is I want you to think about what Sergi and I are talking about and apply it to yourself. I want you to learn vicariously. I want you to do what the Russian educator Lev Vygotsky said. Was he said, what did he call it? Oh, it'll come to me in a moment. But learning vicariously is how important that is within a classroom, that you want the students to
Mhm.
be teaching the other students, and you
Uh,
want the students. Oh, that's what he said. He said it's not really education unless the teacher is being transformed, the classroom is being transformed, the students are being transformed, and the community is being transformed. Said if those four things aren't happening, it's not actually education. So anyway, you said you're from Russia, and Lev Vygotsky is a hero of mine. So I thought I'd throw that in there. So as everybody's listening in here, that's what your job is to do, is to listen to the conversation we're having, apply it to yourself, and then apply it to your job, your community, whatever. And then as Lev Vygotsky would say, this is actually education. So you're doing a service by you asking questions. And if somebody else jumps in here and says, ooh, I want to talk now, then I'll say, okay, Sergi had his time and I'll move on to them. But nobody has done that yet. So you've got me for at least the next 10 minutes. I'm probably going to sign off a little early today because I want to get to some things, and I'm here in Chicago winter, and I'm busy with running around on Lake Michigan in the cold weather. But so I'm a little busy this week. But anyway, so does that give you more context and understanding about how you engaging with me is actually a gift to me and to the people viewing?
Thank you so much for this, because yes, it helps a lot to
Cool.
reduce this anxiety.
Good. Cool. So right there was a wonderful example for everybody of saying the next thing that you were afraid to say. You were paying attention to your fear and you said, George, I'm afraid I'm taking up too much time here. You did a reality check with me, and now we're on the same page, and you're like, oh, wait, this was actually good. So you just challenged that limiting belief. I'm not enough. I'm not enough, by the way, always has the other side of I'm too much. So it goes back and forth. And so you were just
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm being too much here, George. And what I'm saying to you is that's a great thing. I want you to be too much.
Oh,
Like
thank you so
Sergi
much.
should be too much. The more he's too much, the more Sergi there is in the world. Or am I saying your name right? Is it Sergi or Sergey?
Sergey.
Sergey.
Sergey. Sergey. Yes, it's Sergey, but
Sergey. Okay, thank you.
Serge,
Thank you.
Serge, Sergey. Okay.
Sergey. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. I appreciate it. My favorite book ever is Brothers Karamazov, and
Mhm.
I didn't realize I was saying Alyosha wrong for years. Anyway, so thank you. I still can't say um, the author's name. How do I say that? Uh, D-
Karam- yes, yes, it's Karamazov.
Karamazov, but the Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Достоевский, да.
Dostoevsky.
Федор
Fyodor
Достоевский.
Dostoevsky.
Да.
Okay, I'm working on it. So, so there, that's me. I just was afraid, but I had a hunger. I'm curious and I'm wanting to connect with you. And so
Appreciate it.
I'm
You
leaning
are
into
amazing.
the discomforts. Thank you. And I'm leaning into the discomforts, my fears, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna find out a little bit more here. And I'm gonna like establish more of a connection because I want to. And so I suspect that this kind of thing is true of you. I suspect that you, just given the way your face is and kind of your demeanor, I think you're a people person.
Yes, it's true. I'm hosting events. I'm hosting one, two parties each month in my home.
Uh-huh. Yes. And so now I suspect that you talking a little bit about yourself, how does that feel if you say, I'm Sergey, and these are the things I'm doing. What's that like for you as you just share a little bit about yourself?
Uh, I start with hi, I'm Serge. I have depends if it's for example, for a job interview or for some starting for introduction for a presentation, for example. I start with describing my experience in IT and telling people that I have over 20 years experience in IT infrastructure engineering, in product management, cybersecurity, and I'm trying to. Okay, but here comes a difficult step for me. Some how can I move to next stage from introducing myself to asking about other people?
Okay.
Yes, yes, I can go a direct way and ask, what about you? And yes, it's okay sometimes.
Yep. And
Maybe I can have another option.
yes, so you're going to experiment with this and you're going to see what works. Another thing that you can do is I recommend um, getting good at talking about why you like doing what you do. Because there's an emotional piece, and this is the cool thing about emotional intelligence is um, it is so much data.
Mhm.
Um, we connect emotionally before anything else happens.
Yes, it's true. Absolutely.
And so for you to communicate yourself more emotionally and say, I'm Serge, I have 20 years experience in IT and development. What I love about it is this, and this. And I think as I was walking over here, I heard you talking about this, and I just love to hear more.
Mm. Yes, thank you so much. It's a good point for exactly for conferences.
Yes. And this is something a lot of people don't get. It takes a while for it to sink in. I was just coaching somebody yesterday, who they're phenomenal. They are. I was like, I would hire you. Like, you're a very hireable person. You're very good, and yet they were uncomfortable saying what they liked about what they do. It's like
Uh,
they just aren't aware that anybody else would care. And then what I say is, look, if I'm your boss, and when you're talking to prospective clients, they're essentially your boss. Like, you're there to serve them. And so if I'm your boss and you're telling me, George, I like this, and this. I like problem solving in this way. I like developing relationships like this. Like, it turns me on, and I feel really good and energized about that. If I'm your boss, that's music to my ears, because it lets me know that you are motivated on your own, that I don't have to prod you. It lets me know that you're driven and passionate, and I don't have to be up your ass. So you sharing what you like, you sharing about what makes you excited to live and engage with people, and you don't have to do a huge story about it, but just a little bit, then people will be like, oh yeah, I get that. And there's that emotional connection, that a quick emotional bond that happens.
yeah, for example, in my job, I like to discover more and more about how our product works. And we have a really complex one. It's lots of pieces, lots of components. It's software as a service, all in one and for all. And I like help people find new ways to do things. I like help people find solutions for their problems. And
Hmm.
I can do it in my job. I'm happy when I can do it like it was yesterday when we finally found the root cause for a problem we had for a couple of weeks.
Yes. Okay, good. So yes, you're practicing this. And what I want you to do too is we'll put in a personality assessment. And
Mhm.
so you can see which personality style you are, and then you can also look at what other personality styles you're talking to. And so
Uh,
when you know that, sometimes you're going to look at somebody as you're walking up to them, and you're going to assess, you're like, huh, you know what? I think that they are very analytical like me. I think that they probably like data a lot, and they like solving problems. Okay, so that's my wheelhouse. I'm going to communicate in that kind of a way to them. This will be fun. And we can just kind of geek out on this together. And then there's another kind of personality type, the cooperator personality style, which I think you have some of that with you too. And I like to take I like the way that things work on a team. I like a group. I really care about how well things are functioning for a team. Like, and so there's that thing. And then if you're talking to a cooperator, you'll talk about that. You'll talk about like the fun connection stuff. And then if you're talking to a regulator, then you'll shift it and you'll just talk about results. And you'll say, you know, in my 20 years of experience, I have helped this many people have this kind of a result. I'd love to hear from you about what you're working on. And you keep it real short and tight with regulators. And then energizers, you talk about what's possible. And you're like, what's cool? Like, what are the cool kids doing? And like, oh yeah, like that company that did this and like, and how they created that and that, and it's like visionary. And so you can tweak how you're communicating so that it's like a different language. And you speak more languages than I do. So this is now you're going to learn another language. You're going to learn some more languages about personality styles, and you can shift that while you're being with people so that they hear you better.
Yes, and which classification is it? Because I read in your blog about disc classification, and this one sounds like something totally different. Not totally, but in a part.
Yeah, it's not it's like a bottom lined version. It's like what I really like about this one is it helps, the focus of it is to help you identify and communicate with others. And the joke I always make about the my parents with the Enneagram is they can talk about where they're at on the Enneagram. They could talk about that for like an hour, but never actually connect.
Ah,
So the point of this is that you make contact with the people you're talking to.
thank you for so much for sharing.
You are welcome. Well, Serge, keep me updated. Come back in a week or two. I host this every Wednesday, and I know what's the time for you right now?
It's 8 p.m.
Okay, so not too bad.
Yeah, it's okay actually.
Not too, okay, cool, cool. Well, come back and let me know how you implemented this, and I look forward to hearing the update.
Thank you. Will do.
Awesome, awesome. And if you want, you can check out my YouTube page as well in between. And you, it's a whole mess of stuff from hypnosis and ASMR because that's what people like to watch on recurring things. But there's also educational stuff in there.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for
All
sharing.
right, you bet, Serge. Thank you so much for joining in today. And for everybody who's been listening in, thank you for your time. I'm going to get going here a little early today. I've got some things to handle. But I appreciate your questions and your attention. And I will be back next week. All right. Blessings, everybody. Take care, Serge.
Bye, George. See you next week.
All right.
Bye.
Sounds good.